The Trae Young situation is really bad because he's unhappy in Atlanta now. Even though he's the superstar player on the team, the Hawks have made it clear they do not plan on extending Trae Young. There are no plans for Young and the Hawks to engage in extension talks this summer. Young's side has actually been resigned for some time to the prospect of seeing out the final guaranteed year on his current contract, rather than securing an extension. This report isn't sitting well with Trae Young, and he's been very vocal that this decision the Hawks are going to regret. This is a very similar situation to Dallas Cowboys star Micah Parsons, who ended up requesting a trade because the Cowboys didn't extend him. Parsons ended up tweeting a bunch of things, of course sharing his feelings, and Trae Young's response really tells you how he feels about how the Atlanta Hawks are not extending him. This why you pay the man early. When someone will take less early to stay in a place he wanted to be forever, you do it. The price only goes up now. Get what you deserve, bro. So Trae is telling Atlanta he would love to retire here, but with the way they're treating him, he does not care about that anymore. And with that, things could end badly. Like this summer, there were 3 players up for big extensions: Trae Young, De'Aaron Fox, Luka Doncic. And guess what? Everybody got extended except Trae. De'Aaron Fox signed a 4-year extension with the Spurs, $229 million, while Luka just got extended on a 3-year $165. With that, 100% Trae is feeling left out. What I'm hearing now at this point, you can tell by Trae's tweet, and I saw him during the finals, I think he's disappointed that it hasn't come. It hasn't been offered. So the question is simple: why do the Hawks not want to extend Trae? These were Trae's numbers last season: 24.2 points, 3.1 rebounds, 11.6 assists, 1.2 steals. These are elite all-star numbers. Trae Young even made the all-star team last year. But it's his efficiency that really ruins his game. Last season, he shot a career worst 41% from the floor and a horrific 4.7 turnovers per game, categorizing Trae as one of the worst defenders in the league. And if you know all around the NBA, defense speaks. Defense wins games. So keeping Trae Young is easy when you focus simply on offense. Trae brings it. But with defense just being so important in the game today, the Hawks are questioning if he's worth the investment. That's why the Hawks had to bring in Dyson Daniels last season, which was a huge move that of course elevated the team's defense. Dyson also even won the Most Improved Player award and was in conversations for Defensive Player of the Year award. Dyson was a great add. Even this summer, bringing in Nickeil Alexander-Walker is going to make the Atlanta Hawks a whole lot better. But remember, Nickeil only came to the team because Trae was the one that invited him and pushed him to make that decision. But with Trae Young being listed 6'1", he's always going to be a defensive liability, and the Hawks are just worried about that. But there's another reason why the Hawks are going back and forth, and it's going to shock you. Shout out to SeatGeek for sponsoring this video. Easy Buckets family, if you want to buy cheap tickets on an app that has cheap tickets, you have to find them on SeatGeek. Download the app or go on the website, link is in the bio. You can find tickets to over 70,000 plus events. And then of course enjoy this upcoming season coming up. And then on checkout, be sure to use my discount promo code EasyBuckets with an S at the end to get an extra $20 off your first purchase. Your cheap tickets on SeatGeek just became cheaper. The Hawks just brought in Kristaps Porzingis, and fans are excited and believe the Hawks are going to be one of the more competitive teams in the East this season. But next summer, Kristaps is going to be a free agent. Not only is Kristaps going to be a free agent, Dyson Daniels also is going to be a free agent too. So what the Hawks want to do is see how this core fits together in this upcoming season. And then of course next summer is where they'll deal out their big contracts and restart their negotiations with all 3 players, not just Trae. But that's a very risky move for Atlanta because they're really banking on the idea that Trae Young would stay with the team and take a discount. This is how much the Hawks can extend Trae Young for, a 4-year $229. And of course, this is the best they can do. But what the Hawks are banking on is that Trae Young just loves this new team so that next year he would take a huge salary cut. This is what the Hawks want to give Trae next summer, a 5-year $210 million deal, which is of course a lower salary year by year. We recently heard that Jalen Brunson just did that to help the Knicks be competitive and of course give more money to the other players on the team than the star player himself. But let's be honest, do you really think that's Trae Young's personality? We don't know, but it seems a little bit unlikely. Trae wants to get paid, but as of right now, all the power is in the Atlanta head office because Trae can complain as much as he wants, but the Hawks front office can still wait and make a decision next summer. Frustrated as Young may be, there's really not much urgency on Atlanta's side. They can offer him an extension at any point between now and June 30th, 2026. But with his peers signing deals, Young is feeling left out. So one thing's for sure, Trae Young is going to be playing with a chip on his shoulder. He's going to be playing with the mindset of, hey, Atlanta, you're making a big mistake. You better extend me now. Or it's going to be a mindset of, hey, if you don't extend me by this date, I'm going to request a trade. Will he be annoyed enough to ask for a trade? Is Atlanta's hesitancy evidence that its future plans don't actually center around the three-time All-Star? We'll get more clarity on the dynamics in Atlanta as time goes by. But it's fair to say that not everyone's on the same page at the moment. Remember this too, that Trae Young also has a player option next summer, and he's expected to fully reject it, decline it, enter open free agency. That's why the Hawks should not risk losing Trae Young next summer for nothing. Keep him, secure him before he walks for free, because there are teams in the league that would sign him easily. Which is why it might be worth keeping an eye on Young if he doesn't sign an extension ahead of the trade deadline. Holding a player option for 26-27, Trae could effectively be an expiring contract this season. The Hawks may not want to deal with unrestricted free agency if it comes to that, and Young is already moderately peeved. Young has proven already to the Hawks that he is an offensive weapon. Who remembers the 2021 playoffs when the Hawks made it to the conference finals? That was because of Trae. No one could stop him. Since he was drafted, Young's offensive brilliance and defensive limitations have heavily influenced almost every personnel move the Hawks have made. The results, with 3 different head coaches and now 3 general managers, have been unremarkable. Young has not won a playoff series since a magical run to the conference finals in 2021. That doesn't mean trading him is a prerequisite for a finals run, but it'll be nearly impossible for Atlanta to get where it wants to go if Young assumes nearly a third of the cap, with other integral building blocks soon due their own pricey extensions. With everything that's going on, Trae could be leaving Atlanta by the deadline. So I want to know your thoughts. Is Trae Young worth it or not? Let's get a chat going in the comments below. But the LeBron situation is crazier than we thought, because there's a high chance LeBron could be leaving LA this season or next summer, and we just made a video talking about why and how it can happen. Check it out. But other than that, take it easy. God bless. See y'all next time on Easy Buckets. Peace.